channel!
Yeah! Tutti ragazzi, sono Avenaa, oggi siamo qui con
Bellag.
Siamo qui con il campione americano che ha fatto top 8 nazionale, sia al mondiale, scusate, e ci farà vedere la sua decklist di Infernity.
Okay, you can start.
So, the World Championship was this weekend, and I decided to play Infernity. I approached the format, which was a new format that no one had ever done before, with pretty much Infernity just didn't really get hit enough on the updated ban list. I'm sure you guys are kind of familiar with it at this point. Also, Infernity is it's the kind of deck that doesn't really interact with your opponent. It's pretty exploitable to side deck hate, but I definitely wanted to just kind of come here, don't care what the other players are playing, and just let Infernity do its thing, which you guys will obviously see when Sahabi wins the finals here in just a minute. And I worked with Sahabi. Let me just tell you guys, Sahabi is the Infernity guy. He's the man. Followed really closely by Mike Albanese. They both single-handedly taught me everything that I basically know about the deck. But I'm gonna get right into it. So, with Slim Shady. So, Infernity Archfiend, he's obviously the main part of the combo. Whenever you don't have any cards in your hand and you draw them, you can just special summon them. But whenever you special summon period, you get to search your deck for an Infernity card and add it to your hand. I'll go over some combos here in the end just to kind of show you, how you can abuse this card as an engine. So, like I said, he doesn't have to be special summoned from the hand in order to get his effect, so when you Necromancer him, he's really good. So, a lot of lists weren't playing Summoner Monk, and I kind of agreed in the beginning when I was testing because I did expect a lot of Effect Veiler, Breakthrough Skill, Fiendish Chain, but the thing about it is it just doesn't matter. There's too many hands that Summoner Monk fixes, a lot of dead draws that have too many spells that you can't really do anything with. He's very, very efficient. He's also the kind of card that really baits out. You get to see what they have. They know that if you Summoner Monk, that your hand could definitely be dead, and if you want to ever blank Infernities, it's just making all their cards dead. There's multiple times where I just summoned Armageddon Knight on turn 1 and my opponent just Solemn Warning just immediately, even though I have 3 Soul Charge in my deck that are gonna combo off all my things. But like I said, Summoner Monk just fixes some of those really bad dead draws. In hindsight, he was pretty bad for me during the tournament because I did catch a lot of Effect Veilers. Okay. But I would still say, he's one of the best cards. I asked Sahabi what he takes it out against, and he laughed at me. He said he would never take it out. I asked him, I explained that my opponent had Flying Sea, Crow, Veiler, Maxi. He had all the hand traps, Tej.
So they cited also Flying Sea?
All the hand traps,
okay.
Maxi, Flying Sea, Effect Veiler, and Crow. And to be fair, I found out after preparing a little bit that most people were on Infernities. They knew about it. It was kind of obvious. So when we were testing, we just knew that if there was any deck that we were going to target, it was going to be Infernities. But yeah, Summoner Monk, he wasn't great for me, but definitely really good.
You think you're much better than Tin Goldfish? Because I've seen the many players play Tin Gold.
So Tin Goldfish is he's kind of the opposite of Summoner Monk. Yep. Summoner Monk fixes your dead draws, and Tin Goldfish just kind of makes your draws dead. Okay. It's cute to be able to summon him and use the Arc Fiend, but I'll basically if you just go summon Goldfish and special Arc Fiend, there's not a lot of comboing that you can do, assuming that's all you have. So.
Okay.
Stygian Street Patrol, another really important part of all these combos. Basically, when he's in the graveyard, his first effect's not that relevant. Whenever he kills a monster by battle, it sends it to the grave.
Sure.
Yeah, he basically just banished the special Fiend from your hand, so you can trigger your Arc Fiends. And if you have too many things, then you can, put all your things into play.
Okay.
Dark Gruffer, Armageddon Knight. So if there's anything that hurt this deck, it was probably Armageddon Knight being at 1. Most people, I think, played 2 But Greffer is actually like really nice, especially when you add the Summoner Monk, so you can clear your hand, so you can activate your Infernity effects.
So if we're not at the World Championship, would you have played double Armageddon, or the list would be the same with double Greffer?
I think if I were to play Infernities in the current standard meta, I would probably just play 2 Armageddon Knight, 2 Dark Greffer. They're like. The thing is, actually, you know, no, you're right. I actually would probably just go 2 Knight and 1 Greffer.
Okay.
The thing is you can't really ever do much with 2 Greffers, but you can do things when you soul charge multiple Armageddon Knights, so there's like kind of value in that. But when you have 2 Rhoda, you don't want to ever draw 2 Greffer, ever. But drawing multiple Armageddon Knights is fine, because you are always wanting to, you know, get your Stygians in the grave or whatever Infernity to special summon. Also, these cards combo really well with Eris. Whenever it's sent to the graveyard, because of a card effect, you can add a Arc Fiend card from your deck to your hand, and Infernity Arc Fiend, thank God, is an Infernity Arc Fiend. Photon Thrasher. Basically, he was a special summon effect, similar to what you want Tin Goldfish for, but there's some really cool effects of this card. First off, he's just a special summon in himself, so you don't have to waste your normal, and you know, if they catch your Tin Goldfish with like a trap or something, you don't get to summon. But Photon Thrasher, first off, he's a warrior, so you can Rhoda him. Like that, I can't tell you how important that is. Like, when you're playing against I play against Girgia, and when they go set a defense in 3 back row, it's really hard to justify making any plays with this deck into 3 traps when you know, when like 1 trap usually like stops your combo and your deck's just a bunch of garbage. But when you play Photon Thrasher, not only can you use him to like special like how you want in the Goldfish, but he does put pressure in. And since you can Rhoda him, I was actually pretty excited about him this weekend. So Hobby thought he was awful. It may have just been really good for me, but I would actually just suggest playing it. This card was okay. I side-decked it out like every time. He's probably the best free special summon that I could think of. He's also, you know, if you draw him when you're going first, he's pretty good. You could special summon him from your hand just by special summoning him, but your opponent gets a special summon a level 4 from their graveyard. It's really hilarious. There was one match I actually special summoned it, and my opponent didn't realize. It was kind of funny, but I special summoned it, and he's like kind of confused. He like puts his level 4 in the graveyard, and that was the exact amount of cards I needed so I can Exciton him. Like I gave him a card so I can Exciton him, so that was actually like pretty cool. We're a combo deck, so we'll be playing 3 Patrick Obens. We're pretty much just want to draw the same card all the time, or same cards. Also, when I get into a couple more slots, you'll see Infernities, like, you really just want to draw the combo every game, and a lot of the deck is filler. Like, if you draw too many Greffers, like I said, or too many not Infernity cards, it's really bad, but Upstart just allows you to fix your draws. This is a slot that I and Sahabi thought a lot about. It was basically, I wanted to play Trap Stun. MST, when you're going first, it doesn't even matter that it's MST. If anything, it matters as a spell for Summoner Monk, which is probably the ultimate reason why I decided on it. I did know that there was a lot of Girgia in the tournament when I got here, but and also the thing about Girgia is like when they set 3 back row, you can't ever just justify blind MSTing. Like, all their traps, you know, stop you in similar ways. So I just wanted to play Trap Stun so I can catch them all at once. And also Infernities, you know, they need a lot of their resources since they're sending them all to the graveyard, so that you can fight in case things go wrong. So I decided to main the 3 MSTs. This card's a staple. I'm sure you're all familiar with that one. This is a card that basically acted as Dinotherium, except, you know, you don't have to like give your opponent monsters for free. It has some cool effects. Some builds play Fusionists so that you have, you know, access to rank 3s. I only played 1. I played Camion Wizard. Okay. If I had played more fusions in my extra, I would play 3 instant fusion. It is powerful. I probably could just cut the Dinotherium. But for this tournament, I actually had a lot of cards in my extra deck that I wanted to I really wanted to be able to have access to. Mostly because I didn't know what everybody's going to play. Staple, like I said, finds you this. Grepher, you know, sometimes you'll have too many monsters in your hand and you need to get rid of them. If not, just getting Armageddon Knight's the best. And then if you think they have like armor or something, trash is sweet.
So in the normal format, if you could play double Rota, would you play still 2 Grepher and 1 Armageddon, or with the second Rota you would cut a Grepher or something like that?
If we had 2 Rotas, I definitely would. I would just go 2 Armageddon Knight, 1 Grepher, because like I said, drawing two Greffers is like kind of bad. I guess you can discard a Grepher to its effect, but you don't really gain any value from it being in the graveyard, and it's a normal summon, which you don't want too many of in your deck. Foolish Burial. It's pretty cool. You can like send Heiress to the grave to go find your Archfiend Allure. This is the kind of card I was talking about Dinotherium, and the reason why I like Upstart Goblin. There's a lot of draws in this deck that you are drawing cards that just like kind of don't help you combo, or you've drawn too many of. And Allure, I would say, like particularly fixes your really bad draws. Like you can usually make use. Like your really bad draws will usually just involve like too many monsters, and Allure will usually definitely fix that. This card was great. I'm really liking this card ever since Nationals. I've really liked Mind Control. It's very universal. Fire Hand, Ice Hand, both like pretty important, and being able to blank their effects. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I love Fire Hand, Ice Hand, but they are even better against Infernities. If you set up a field and you don't kill them and they get to just attack their hands, like you're gonna have to kill them, or but yeah, Mind Control is really good for me in that sense. Book of Moon. I don't know how I felt about Book of Moon. It was pretty weak for me this tournament. It has some cool effects, like when you're under trap stun, which a lot of players were on, or when you activate your own, you can still chain Book of Moon. It in theory seemed good, but I ended up not liking it. There was like maybe like a trap slot I considered over it, but once again, I just wanted to make sure my Summoner Monks were always live, so I didn't really bother. Forbidden Lance is like kind of a card that I added at the last second, similar to all the reasons that I had the cards that I say are barely filler in the deck. Forbidden Lance, basically, like in case people are playing Trap Trick, Trap Hole Nightmare, it catches those, but it still catches like Bottomless, Torrential, Compulse, any kind of trap that would affect you. And it's a spell, once again. I just want to have spells for Summoner. This card, I forgot to mention earlier, when you send Heiress to the grave, you can find this, and there's some pretty cool combos that you can do with this card. I'll show you those at the end too. And the main card in the deck. Once per turn, you can discard an Infernity from your hand, which is very, very relevant. Like I said, your worst draws will involve just drawing too many normal summons, or just drawing too many cards in general, and it just allows you to combo off a turn earlier if you have too many normal summons. The traps. So a lot of people like a lot of traps in this deck, and I actually agree with the idea that this deck isn't always a combo deck against some matchups. Like if you ever lose the die roll and are facing a Hat deck or a Girgia deck, it's really, like I said, this deck's like really it just doesn't do well against hate. Like one trap will usually like stop you for a turn if you don't have like multiple cards that will help. But I just don't want to draw too many traps because it will not help me combo. And for this tournament, I was specifically trying to combo because I didn't really know what people were going to play. I especially thought people were going to play Infernities, and against Infernities, you don't want to play traps. You want to do the thing on turn one. So, but once again, I feel pretty good about this. I still think the combo build is the way to go. Sahabi at Nationals, I know, didn't even play Warning, and I don't think he played it in this tournament either. But Warning, so like it was like in the same realm of Book of Moon. I wasn't like too excited about it, but Warning stopped like Soul Charge, Fire Hand, Ice Hand, like those kinds of effects, like especially Fire Hand, Ice Hand. Being able to have outs to those are really important. But Soul Charge I expected a lot of too. So Solemn Warning I was pretty excited about. Yeah. These two are great for me this tournament. Specifically Saw and Honor Arc. Just the fact that he gets to take a special summon guy, like they'll usually make something that like this deck can't really deal with. There's not a lot of space too, so it's kind of universal in the sense that it can deal with giant monsters that you can't even attack over.
Okay.
But Silent Honor Arc is definitely a staple in this deck, as well as Abyss Dweller. Once again, Fire Hand, Ice Hand, you just don't want them to ever activate. And Mermails in the current format is actually pretty good, so I would definitely suggest playing in the current format because it stops all most of their effects. This card I wasn't like too positive about. The time factor is always an important thing to consider in tournaments, and I did actually want that out for situations where I'm going into game 3, which will usually happen in these kinds of tournaments. I just like having those out, so I was not too happy about Cowboy, but I did decide that I ultimately needed him.
Okay.
This card, just against like the mirror, if you ever like grind against like the trap build or something, you can like banish like their Arc Fiends or Necromancers. They just can't play, like their deck can't like really do the combos or anything that it's supposed to. So Sahabi found a sweet, awesome tech. I was going to show you guys my side deck after the extra, but I'm just going to show you why we decided to play Karen Gorgon.
Okay, sure.
Spiritualism returns a magic or trap card on your opponent's side of the field to their hand, and when you play Spiritualism, the card that you're targeting it just can't be negated. This card can't be negated. So a situation that'll happen against Infernities is if they go first, they're usually going to get Barrier, and like I said, if they have a trap, it's usually just going to stop you in your tracks. So if they get the Barrier first, you're just usually not going to be able to do anything. But the cool thing is there's a Spiritualism tech that if they combo off and they have the Barrier, you can just Spiritualism their Barrier and Dark Hole their field, sure. and they've lost everything. They put all their monsters.
With that you can save your Barrier.
No, because watch this. So the only traps you play are all these. These. You have to have no cards in your hand in order to activate them. When you Spiritualism Barrier, you can no longer break any of their cards. If you Spiritualism, even, you understand, it stops the Barrier. But if you have Karen Gorgon, okay? And your opponent has this card, which I kind of expected people to have. It was played in the ARG series. It's no secret or anything. They have Spiritualism, target Barrier, chain Karen Gorgon, make the Spiritualism, target the break, chain the break, destroy that.
Okay,
you
sure.
have no cards in hand.
Okay.
So you can still Barrier the Dark Hole. Yes.
Okay, sure.
So Hobby thought of that. I thought it was disgusting. If people are playing Spiritualism, they were going to be real excited to see that. Never came up once for me in the tournament. Karen Gorgon was great for me in general, but just wanted to show you all that really sweet tech. Staple. You all know.
Okay, 3-hour staple.
Yeah, like you get to, send Eris to the grave, send your Arc Fiend, all your cards you want in the grave, so Law of All Chain, great.
Okay.
There's combos that require 2 Direwolves, there's combos that require 2 Leviaires, but you don't always have to like fully combo and get all 4 of your trap searches. You can, get to just combo normally, but I ended up deciding on 2 of these because if you soul charge, make a bunch of monsters, you want to be able to just kill their cards and grind them out. And Leviaire just allows you to get back your Stygians and stuff like that. This is probably the most important part about my extra deck this weekend. Against the decks that like try to out-resource you with traps, you just want to be able to summon Exciton and wipe their field. Like, it also forces them to play their traps. Like, they sometimes will get greedy and bottomless. Like, if you like normal summon Stygian, it just doesn't look threatening. They're like probably not going to bottomless it. Maybe they will because the graveyard effect or whatever. But there's situations where you'll normal summon a monster, they won't do anything, and then you get the instant fusion. This guy into play. Can't bottomless that. It's got less than 1500 attack. Throw Exciton in play. If they try to bottomless, you can just chain and destroy their whole field. Like Exciton, having 2, very, very, very important in this deck. And Key Beetle pretty much just interacts pretty well with some of my side deck cards, which you'll find out in a second. He has some other effects, like protecting your Barrier after you combo off on the first turn, so your opponent can't MST it. Side deck. Just gonna lay it out for you guys. So, like I said, Infernity was like the main deck I was targeting for this tournament. When I was on the play, playing against Infernity, I had pretty much just depending on their play style, it changed some cards. But these were generally cards I wanted against them on the play. If you get to go turn 1 Key Beetle and protect this, it's over. They can't play it. They're just, all their cards they don't get to use. This card's really reactive in a sense that it catches Soul Charge, it catches the Stygian effect, it catches Necro effect. It's a very universal card. And in this tournament, like I said, I didn't really expect what people were going to play, but I thought it'd be okay against like random Eclipse Wyvern or any deck like that. So.
Okay.
And Needle Sealing is obviously a pretty powerful card when your opponent's comboing well. The trap stuns are mostly against just like any kind of trap deck, no secrets.
Sure.
I usually boarded out my MSTs. I was boarding these in though for the reason the bad hands. You don't really want to always draw all these MSTs and trap stuns and not enough combo pieces. So. Yeah, that's right. Dark Hole is the last card I was going to say. I pretty much always just board it in the Infernity Mirror. Yeah, like they'll pull some nonsense where they get to like make a field and stuff if they fight through all your stuff. So I like the Dark Hole. The Fiendish Chains and the Forbidden Chalice ultimately were. So Flying Sea was like a huge word coming in when we got to Italy. Like I just heard everybody was talking about Flying Sea, and I was kind of scared about it. Like the main deck. Oh yeah, I guess that was part of the reason why I like Book of Moon too. You can throw their Flying Sea face down. But Book of Moon is not really as good as these against some decks. Like Chalice is, you can randomly like kill, monsters in combat. But basically, these are just outs the Flying Sea. I didn't want to lose the Flying Sea, and I wanted universal effects. So. And the 3 Spiritualism, like I said, they were just for Infernity. I wouldn't board them in against anything else. It probably wasn't even, correct. It probably wouldn't be correct to play it in the current meta because there's not that much Infernity. But for this tournament, I was pretty excited about it.
Okay.
But yeah, that was Infernity for this weekend.
Okay, thanks for the deck profile. If you want to add something, I think you have explained perfectly the deck, so I think it's all right.
Well, I thank you. Like I said, I learned everything from Mike and Sahabi. They're both very good masters of the deck, so I was in good hands.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.